y'all probably want to hear. I kind of give her the floor, let her explain and tell her testimony. But thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all go ahead and share it. You go ahead, Nikki.
All right. Thanks for having me. My story is not really the traditional story when it comes to cancer per se. Just a little bit of my diagnosis. I was diagnosed in 2012 with an inoperable brain tumor. For those who may not understand what inoperable means, it basically means where the tumor is located, they could not take it out. So I am still currently living with a brain tumor. The type of brain tumor is called a pilocytic astrocytoma. It is considered a juvenile tumor, but what makes it rare for me is that I developed it at the age of 24. So we don't know how long it's been there, where it came from. Basically, I found out about it 3 months after I had my first child. So my situation is very different. It's something that we don't have in our family. It's not considered a hereditary condition. We really don't know where it came from. They don't know how I came about it. Just 3 months after I had my son, I started having symptoms out of nowhere. Literally, 1 week, I went from being perfectly fine. Then I started having um, mild headaches that started popping up. Um, they kind of went away with medication like Tylenol or something over the counter. This probably started about, say, a Monday. By Wednesday of the same week, I went from a mild headache to one that I could not handle, that it was unbearable. Probably up there with childbirth for the ladies who've ever given children, but it was worse than that. Like, it was very unbearable. It went from the extreme pain to not really being able to see. My vision was very blurry. I was very dizzy. Um, just very quick. Like, it just was happening back, like, all in the same day. Dizzy, really bad headache. From there, like I said, I had a 3-month-old son. My spouse was not home. No one was with me. So I called and I was just like, I'm not feeling too well. Called my mother as well. And I was like, I'm not feeling too well. They were like, well, maybe, you just had a baby. Maybe you're going through, some postpartum things. And I was like, well, I'm really not feeling well. I'll lay down. They kind of, kept an eye on me, calling me just to see if I was okay. And it kind of started to, like I said, intensify. I returned their call and my spouse was like, as soon as I get done, I'm coming to you. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to lay in the bed, try to get through it. Later, my mom called me back. She was living in I live in Florida, but I was living in Central Florida at the time. She was living in South Florida. And she called and checked up on me. And I was like, she says, I don't really remember. She says that I said, I don't think I'm going to make it. That's how much pain I was in. Between that phone call and maybe 1 or 2 hours later, all I know is I was picked up off the bathroom floor. I had passed out and I was rushed to the ER. Upon getting to the ER, basically they started running all this test on me, drawing blood, all this stuff. They could not find anything. Not one time did they say, you know what, let's give her a CAT scan, let's do an MRI, nothing of that nature. What finally made them do it is because they were going to run some more blood work. And I just remember saying, hold on, hold on, hold on. And at that moment, I basically went into a seizure. So from the seizure, that made them say, okay, we have to get her in the CAT scan. From there, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I was in a lot of pain. My eyes were closed. I was there, but like I could talk, but I really didn't know what was going on because I was in so much pain. From there, I guess that's when they found out that there was a tumor. The tumor location is literally in the center of my brain. So it's blocking major ventricles, which led to hydrocephalus. If most people don't know what that means, it's like swelling of the brain where fluid has built up. So that's basically what started all the symptoms. There was so much fluid buildup and the tumors blocking where it's supposed to drain from your head to your spine. So that's what basically incited all of the symptoms. So from there, I was immediately sent off to Tampa General in an ambulance. And from there, that's how my diagnosis was determined. I was in the ICU almost a month. I had 2 surgeries, a biopsy, as well as what is considered a VP shunt placement, which helps to distribute the fluid that is supposed to circulate through your spinal cord and your brain. I needed a tool, which is basically what's in my head now, that helps distribute my fluid in order to basically keep me alive so that the fluid doesn't fill up my brain, which can cause an aneurysm and other things. So long story short, that's pretty much my story. I am currently on year 10. This month makes my 10th year of living with my condition. So we're all very excited because in the beginning, they said I had a 50-50 chance. They didn't really know what was to come. So my current status is I am stable. I do have to go to Moffitt Cancer Center twice a year for monitoring treatments and, things of that nature. What makes my story even more of a blessing, I've never had chemo, never had radiation. I've had some medication here or there. I did not really care for how it made me feel, so I kind of have had to suffer with migraines over the years. I've kind of learned how to work with it, I guess you can say, and know like my triggers or, different things that may cause them. And as soon as I feel something coming on, I'm like jumping on it as quick as possible. But if it gets to that extent, I just rest it off and, take the days I need to get back to myself. But overall, I am considered stable. I do have to go monitored, which consists of an MRI. They check hormonal levels because where the tumor sits, it sits right in front of the hypothalamus, which is basically your hormonal gland. So I do have to get testing done to make sure everything is, going as it should be. And pretty much that's my story. After all this time, I just had a baby girl in October. So that's a blessing because at first they didn't want me to have any more kids because of basically how I found out. They thought that all of that could possibly reignite the tumor again, I guess you can say, by having other children. But after so long of being stable, my doctor said it was okay, and through God, I have a healthy baby girl, and I was perfectly fine.
Wow. So you said they did a biopsy. So did they remove the whole tumor or?
Oh, it's not
Oh,
moved. They tried to get a small piece that they could without causing damage because where it's located,
I
it's
got
a big chance that they could affect me or touch something that they shouldn't be touching because it's literally in the center. I don't have an MRI in front of me, but it's literally in the center. So they tried to go from the back and get the smallest piece that they could. So that's how they kind of were able to give it a name to, but truly they don't know.
That's a blessing
Yeah.
to have a tumor on your brain and you see him talking to me. No, just normal. You look fine. That's truly a blessing right there.
Yeah.
It's truly a. So is it something? It's something. It'll never go away.
Well, we're prayerful, if God takes it away, I guess that's how it will go away. But as far as surgery, no. I pretty much will be living like this forever.
So have you done like any research on this and see how is there anybody else in the world that has the condition or?
I have, but brain tumor research is much smaller than people think. I have been involved in a couple of clinical studies because there has been what they say an increase in the southeast region of younger people developing brain tumors. I actually know one other person who had one as well that went to college with me, and another young lady who had one, but she's deceased. They both went to the same college as me, and we're in proximity of age. So I'm sure it has to be something going on, but we don't know. We do I do a lot of research. I also used to do, and I haven't done it in a while due to COVID, but we would put on a fundraiser event that we partnered with the National Brain Tumor Society every year, but we kind of put it to the side over the past 2 years due to COVID. So we're hoping to get back into that, or maybe do a walk or something a little smaller. But we used to do a women's empowerment, which also tied into brain tumor awareness function every year. But COVID kind of put a pause on it. So we're hoping to get back into that to try to raise funds, and we always donate to the National Brain Tumor Society.
That's great. That's great. So let me ask you, are there limited like with this condition that you have, are there like limited activities that you can do?
Yes,
Like,
there are. And that was one of the hardest parts initially because I well, not as much anymore, but very athletic, into athletic things. So that definitely took a pause. Like I can't do things that are high action. Um, just basically anything that could possibly cause me to potentially hit my head, or also things that will knock off my equilibrium per se, balance, because that sometimes can be an issue. So I can't do a lot of things that may have me like flipped over, or things of that nature. So yes, it definitely did. Also, I can't go through metal detectors anymore. So that's also an issue.
really?
Yeah.
So what you do when you go to places and you have to go through a metal detector?
And
Like so you can't.
no,
What about so so what about like if you fly or anything like this? You don't fly?
I do
No,
fly.
you have to go through.
I do fly. One thing is TSA. That's definitely a lifesaver for me because I don't like I definitely had anxiety about airports, like really, really bad. So what I have to do is basically go to one of the TSA attendants and tell them I have a medical device. I can't go through the metal detector. So of course they take me to the side. They usually ask me questions because I don't look like I'm going through anything. So they pull me to
Right.
the side, and then I just tell them what I have because I don't have a medical card or anything. So I just tell them what my condition is, and then they'll just do like, the pat down and all that stuff. So anywhere I go, like say if it's a professional sports game where that's all they have, I have to go up to them, let them know. Then of course, they always give me a little look like, is she lying or not? And then they pull me to the side. They do the whole pat down. So that's typically what I do because the shunt that I have, I can't go through that because it will cause the rating on it, the setting to change. And if that changes, it can affect me once again. Too high, it can drain too much. Too low, it can drain not enough. So anything with a strong magnetic field, it can cause it to change. So every time I get an MRI, I have to go to my surgeon for him to reset it because the MRI changes the setting.
Yeah, I was about to ask that because I think with the MRIs, um, you go into the little toner thing that make them loud noises and stuff.
Right.
So once they turn it down, that doesn't bother you at all or trigger anything.
The sounds.
Yeah, the sounds.
I mean, you have to adjust. I would say over the years, I've become more claustrophobic just because I know what I'm about to go through in there.
Right.
So over the years, it's gotten worse as far as going in there. But I don't like to take anything, so I just kind of go in there, pray, put a song in my head if they don't have music, and just try to sing my way through it. That's what I usually do.
Wow. It's an incredible story. I never heard of this condition before. It's the first time I ever heard of this condition of any kind from anybody.
Most people, they're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's definitely different. Like I said, no one in my family has anything like this. So it definitely came as a big shock. And it's just like questions because I've been healthy my whole life, never had any major anything. So, like I said, they don't know how long it's been there. It could have been there since I was a child, for all they know. But we don't know.
Right. Everybody like me, I was the first in my family to have cancer. And I was about like I've been active off and on, and I always worked out and did this and did that, and thought I was in the best shape of my life. But no matter shape, size, or form, when the illness hits you, it's gonna hit you no matter if you're in bad shape or good shape. That don't mean nothing right there.
Not at all. Not at all. And I would say you can't look at how a person looks to know what they've been through or what they're going through. So that's usually one of my biggest statements. Like, I mean, that definitely helps you feel better about yourself. Of course, when you look good, you feel good. So those are one of the things I try to keep myself going. When I have those days where I'm tired and I just feel exhausted or the migraine takes me out, I'm just like, okay, get your rest. And then, when you start feeling better, get up, get yourself together. So, you don't get in that depressed mode. And then, of course, I have two kids, a 10-year-old and now a 6-month-old. So if nothing else, I'm living, for them with my spouse. So that alone helps you get up and, feel good about yourself, your, at least your immediate family.
Right. Right. Like you said, like I'm a 3-time survivor. I don't have a stem cell transplant done. I don't have 14 to 15 surgeries. And with stem cell transplant, I can relate to you having those good days and the bad days. It has gotten better over time, but I do have my days where I just feel sluggish and like, like my body just don't feel right. And like you said, I just have to lay down and take it easy. And I even get it in my eyes, like my eyes get kind of blackish looking or whatever. But I do have them good days and bad days from the stem cell transplant. Whatever, like I said, 3 times survivor. I had a stem cell transplant done. So you think, so is there, so will you be taking like any kind of meds for this for the rest of your life? Like,
Um,
you take
well,
like medication or?
well, initially they started me off with a couple. Like I said, over time, I kind of let that go just because I'm able to kind of know triggers and things of that nature. So basically with the monitoring, that's what kind of lets them know what's going on, unless I have like those same symptoms all over again. So what they would do if anything changes, say the tumor grows, because it is benign, but although it's benign, it can grow. And the location of mine is what makes it dangerous. So any small growth can affect the smallest thing when you're talking about your brain. So if anything changes, God's willing it doesn't, then I would have to go forward and consider radiation or chemo.
Wow. So other than the metal detectors and doing activity flipping and all that stuff, you pretty much live a normal life. You do
Yeah,
everything else.
I pretty much live
Um,
a very normal life. Like I said, I'm not on any medications for migraines or anything because that will affect me with driving. And I don't like that. So I like to be able to go if I need to go. So like I said, that was another reason I got off like the migraine medications because it also caused some side effects that I didn't care for. Like I was having nightmares from it. Well, I also had what they call auras. So sometimes before a migraine comes, I don't usually know when, I haven't figured that out, but I'll have like, it's kind of like a beam of light that kind of comes like down your eye. It's almost like someone maybe has a flashlight behind you and you can see it from your peripheral. So when I do have those, I typically won't drive because I know sooner or later a migraine's coming. So that's one thing I noticed that I have as well. And some of the medications, they're supposed to be blockers to that, but I noticed it would come on more. So, like I said, some of the medications, I can't really remember the names of them at the moment, but that's where I kind of got off. I was also like almost like a zombie. Like wouldn't get out of bed. I was so tired. And like I said, at the time, my son was 3 months. So I'm like, I can't be like this. I barely can get up. So by the time he was able to walk, like I had to kind of teach him, like, okay, you could walk to the cabinet down, down low, get you a little juice or a snack, and then, gather myself to get up because my spouse was, working really early. So in between us both, if he's not there, I had to teach him little things to do so he can learn how to, grab that and satisfy himself until I'm able to get up and get out of bed. So I didn't like those type of things. So that made me be like, you know what? I'd rather not be on this.
Right. So I know you had mentioned about, you feel a little light going down your eyes. So does that affect your like vision? Do you have to wear glasses or contacts with having that,
Well, I
the tumor?
already needed
Yeah.
glasses anyway. So I already needed them, but I will say after the fact, one of my eyes did change drastically. Like the negativity went up a lot afterwards in one eye.
Okay. Let me ask you this: with the tumor still being in your brain, and I know you say you stay in Florida. Y'all got the beaches and stuff. Does sitting in the hot sun for a long period of time, does that kind of affect it or it don't?
No, the only thing that affects me is like where the cut is on the back of my head, and the device sometimes laying on that side can cause, a little tenderness or pain. And even though it's been 10 years, I still have sight tenderness in that spot. But as far as the sun, no. And living in Florida, I mean, most people love the sun. I don't, so I stay out of it anyway. So I probably couldn't even tell you if it would affect me drastically or not. If anything, it would probably be just energy. But no, I haven't had an effect from that at all.
Okay. Like I said, you had an incredible story. Like I never heard anything like this before. Um, like I said, I thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Um, and the people that watching, do y'all have any questions for her, or me, or anything? Any kind of questions? I do want to say one thing to people that watching. If you guys have like bad headaches, like like every day, and where you can't, your vision is blurry, or you better go get it checked out because you never know what it is. You just heard a story. Like I said, please go to the doctor, get it checked out. Even with my case, your body's filled with lymph nodes all over. Everybody's body's filled with lymph nodes. Or if you have a lymph node in usual area, please go get it checked out because you never know this day and time. Oh, do got a question. It said, do you have a diet? You have restriction on your diet, like anything that you can and can't eat?
No, but like you said, doing research, I'm sure most people have heard of like Dr. Sebi and people like that, just because they say different things feed tumors. So I kind of try to stay away from some of that. It's not easy, but I don't have any dietary restrictions. No.
Okay, that's good. Really good. That's amazing. Like I said, I know you got a tumor sitting on your brain now. And you see him function just to fine, talking, driving, taking care of your kids. That's amazing. You truly got a testimony. Truly got a testimony.
Well, I appreciate you for having me. Similar to what you said, like it's so important to get your story out there. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of person, so when it was brought to my attention, I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it. let me just get up and do it because I need to, you know. And I appreciate you having me on here.
Oh, no problem. Like I said, the other day, the goal is, we got 13, 14 people watching. We can just text one person. Like you said, people looking at me and you and don't expect us been through anything or going through anything. You never know what the next person going through. So to hear our story and see that we're doing good, or we don't beat cancer, or you doing good, but your tumor will give somebody the hope with whatever they going through. So that's the meaning of this, that I try to get on and and talk 30 minutes to an hour every week to kind of share our testimonies and show people that it's okay. You're not by yourself. You can beat this.
Right.
So that's the purpose. That's the purpose of the tour, strong, whatever. So like I said, I thank you for coming on and sharing your story. If you're not busy on Wednesdays at 7, if you get a chance, check me out. I'll be over here mostly every Wednesday at 7. And I have like different guests with different things, from lupus, cancer, caregivers. I have it all on there. So, they kind of check me out whenever you get a chance. Like I said, you got a major story I never heard of before. Keep pushing, keep doing what you do, and God bless you. And I wish you well. Thank you for sharing your story.
Same to you.
Do anybody else have any questions before we get off? All right. Well, before we get off, make sure y'all go and like Tor Strong on Facebook. Tor Strong. Go and like and follow my page. I also still have the t-shirts and still have the hoodies and stuff. Even though it has gotten hot. So if y'all need the Tor Strong shirts, whatever, all colors and sizes, y'all hit my inbox with that. My cash app is on the link. I'm still taking orders. Like I say, I'm still taking orders for hoodies and all. Also go and like my business page, CGT Small Event Venue. All this, it's on Facebook and Instagram. You got anything you want to add?
Sure. May is also Brain Tumor Awareness Month. So I don't have on gray right now, but you do. So most people do support and they wear gray during the month of May for Brain Tumor Awareness Month. I do have a couple of business pages. I can leave it in the comments, but my personal business, I'm a teacher by day, hairstylist on the side when I'm not teaching. But my page is at Nikki, Niki, the Beautifier, BeauTifier. And I also have a business page, which is Boutique, Beautiquue online store. So there you can see what I do. You can see a little bit of my story as well. And if you do happen to wear gray in the month of May and you think about me, feel free to tag us in there. And that's pretty much it. Again, congrats to you and your story. It's very inspirational as well. And keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, thanks for people that tune in weekly. Every week at 7 o'clock. Please make sure when y'all get out, please share this live. Please share it. Like I said, go and like our pages. Nikki gonna leave her stuff, links in the comments. Y'all have a great night and see y'all next week, same place, same time. Thank you again.
Thank you.